Hello, everyone. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. My name is Erica Danielle. I'm one of the digital editors here at Rare Radar. So tonight, I'm super excited about this one. We are back with another On Our Radar interview. And tonight, I have the pleasure of chatting with Mikala McGhee, who is the new Miss Missouri. Okay, period. And we'll be chatting with her all about her start into the pageant world, mental health, self-love, self-care, all that good stuff. So yes, hello, welcome in everybody. Hello. Hi Asia. Hello. Hey. We're just waiting for Mikala to hop on in. So thank you. Everybody's been telling me that. I got this from Ross, I believe. So Ross or Five Below. One of them. Either way it was cheap. So period. We love a nice cute thing on a budget. Period. There she is. We're gonna let you up. I'm gonna invite you to join. I invited you, so she should be hopping on in a little bit. Hello.
Hello, gorgeous. How is it going?
Good. How are you? Right back at you. It's everything for me.
Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are we good?
We're good. Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. You're kind of lagging a little bit. You're good now.
Okay. Boom.
Okay, boom. Hello. Thank you for taking the time out to join us.
Of course. This is so cool. I'm so excited about what you're doing. I've been reading up a little bit about you and your platform. I think it's going to be really cool for the culture. So I'm glad I get to be a part of it.
Period. For the culture. Yes. So go ahead and introduce yourself to people who may not know. Even though we see you got the whole thing, but people like if they blind or something, I don't know.
It did bring
Period. Yes, you got the crowd.
I wasn't gonna fuss like that on everybody. So.
Yes, do it. If you want to do it. Go for it.
Well, everyone, my name is Mikala McGhee. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Lived here my entire life. I have been a sports anchor and news reporter for the #1 station here for 3 years. And now I'm just a multimedia personality within the area. And just last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, I won Miss Missouri USA. Oh, hold on.
Period.
All right, now we're back. Now I'm
there we go.
Missouri USA. I am representing the great state of Missouri and will be competing in this year's Miss USA pageant.
Period. Yes, that was everything. Yes. So, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Congratulations on winning Miss Missouri. Congratulations on that. How does it feel? How do you feel? How's it feel?
I'm getting that question a lot, and it's just been so many emotions because you prepare for so many months for, those maybe 5 minutes that you actually get on stage throughout that weekend to really, show your personality, show who you are, show why you should be that girl. So in the moment when it happened, when my name was called, I mean, literally brought to tears. It's like I couldn't cry because you have to keep it together, but I was ready.
Right.
And then, you're also a little heartbroken, as excited you are, because there's a girl standing right in front of you who is just as worthy and deserving. And I will always, to this day, shout out Autumn Black from Kansas City. She was amazing, is amazing, going to be a star in whatever she does. So if you guys look her up, she is also a phenomenal woman to follow and keep up with. But yeah, the only thing I could say on stage really that came to mind was thank you, Jesus, because I just couldn't believe I couldn't believe that it happened. And I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit, but just about my background, I never, ever thought that this would be on my path in my life. So just mind blown, overwhelmed, over the moon, still shocked, but also not at the same time because I believed I could do it. So it's just been everything.
Yes, I imagine. So you talked about it a little bit, but how did you get into the pageant world? How did that even happen?
Yeah, so again, I'll kind of back it up just for everyone. I am a sports girl. You know, I have grown up my entire life in athletics. I was a 3-sport varsity athlete in high school, all 4 years, all
Period.
state, all metro in soccer and basketball. I've been the St. Louis Athlete of the Year. I can't even, count on how many fingers. Went on to play Division I basketball at 3 Division I schools because I was a bit of a transfer, but it ended up working out for me. Got my undergrad degree, got my master's degree because of athletics, came back to St. Louis, played for a semi-pro basketball team here that kind of serves as the feeder league for the WNBA. Off of an interview as an athlete, as a professional athlete with Fox 2 News, they told me they think I would be great, in an anchor role or in a reporting role, just in broadcast in general. And I did not go to school for this. I didn't have the criteria. I mean, I was just like, how am I going to spruce my resume to make this sound good, But went into that interview, got told no for the full-time job, but they did offer me a paid internship. So I took that and just busted my butt, worked extremely hard for 3.5 months. 2 months later, after the internship ended, they ended up giving me a call back and offered me a full-time position, which is what got me into my broadcasting career, which has been amazing. But then now getting into this pageant world, again, like I said, I never knew this was going to be my path. I ended up meeting the reigning title holder, Joy Forrest, at the Bommarito 500, which is held near the St. Louis area. And I met her and she was amazing. We started following each other on Instagram. We were kind of, girls from a distance, like supported each other, like showed a lot of love, but, it was just from a distance. We didn't know each other like that. But since the day I met her, there was just something on my heart. It was like just this nagging, annoying, constant thought, or like just a dream. I would go to bed, wake up thinking about pageants, and I have no experience in this world. So I did not understand why I was thinking about it so much. And then finally, Joy posted on her Instagram that this year's Miss Missouri USA. And, again, sleepless nights, thinking about it, praying on it, not really knowing, because I was already, established in my career. I was like, I don't need this. So why am I so much? But I sat back and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to place limits on myself. This is on my heart for a reason. So if it is, I'm going to go for it. And I applied, and it's been history ever since.
Here you are. Here you are. I love it. So what goes into preparing for a pageant? Like, how do you even prepare for that?
Girl, it is so much preparation that I would have never thought. So I think preparing for a basketball game and a basketball season is equivalent to the hard work and dedication that you put into preparing for a pageant. And I would have never known that unless I did it,
Right.
So, like, kudos to these girls who have been doing it from a young age. I clearly now can understand the depths of all of this. But really, it's a process and a journey of finding yourself and who you are, what you stand for, the change that you want to see and be in your community, how you can enact change. Like, are you going to be a change maker? Are you just going to be a talker? And then also, I mean, it is a beauty pageant. They want girls who are, physically appealing, nice on the eyes,
Right.
and pageants themselves are becoming more diverse. I don't even think that they're looking for the typical, skinny blonde that everyone thinks of beauty pageants in. We're seeing more diversity in body and personality and backgrounds. I am a prime example of that right now, but obviously being physically fit, I think just elevating yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Yeah. Nice. So what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions about the pageant world?
I can honestly say probably the same misconceptions that I had. I thought it was going to be very catty, like girls very
Mm-hmm.
out to get each other, not, not really a fun dynamic. Like I thought it was, you're going to come in there and you got to be focused on you, protect your stuff at all costs. Someone's going to cut your dress, like, like things. And you watch these movies and stuff and like Miss Congeniality, and we all get this,
Right.
like all these girls are kind of just ditzy and they're there to just look good. Absolutely not the case. These women are so intelligent, so smart, so purpose driven. And it was really a phenomenal experience to be a part of. And I am still keeping in contact with a lot of the contestants who were in the Miss Pageant with me on stage. They're so much fun. We were all so supportive of each other. And obviously, during the humble and mix and mumble of everything, you spend a little bit more time with a certain group of girls than others because you're in the same dressing room, you're in the same walking group. So
Right.
comes a thing. But I mean, I never expected a pageant experience to be what I had, and I have nothing but good things to say about it.
That's interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect that to be your answer. But that's a good thing, though. That's like a really, really good thing. Because most people would think, like, especially women caddying, especially that, like, industry, people would think, like, everybody's, like, you're gonna step on your dress on the way out, you know what I'm saying? Or do
Yeah,
something weird. But it's good to know that, these are, like, good, smart, intelligent, upstanding women.
they really are. And I don't know everybody's heart. You're only there for a weekend. So I can't, I don't know if somebody was just faking it or, what it.
Right.
I felt no ill will. I felt no animosity. So I'm going to keep myself in that space and I'm going to keep it pushing.
Period. Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those that do not know, May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. So, I was just curious to know, how do you, or what do you do to practice self care and just keep yourself, keep your mental health intact?
Yeah, well, I will even tie this back to pageantry. I don't know if a lot of your viewers might have heard this, but Chesley Christ, who was a former Miss USA, she won in 2019, was the longest standing title holder, a beautiful girl, worked for E! News, was a lawyer, was just, and what you would want to be, who I wanted to be, literally.
Right.
She's who I started following when I found out I was going to pursue this journey. She just committed suicide just a couple months ago. And then there was a girl in the Miss United States system who had a similar fate. And I think mental health is not, it doesn't hide from anybody. It affects everybody. It doesn't matter your skin tone, your background, where you work, how much money you have, any of that. I mean, mental health is a real thing. So I just, first of all, want to put my heart out to the families of those who have dealt with other loved ones who are struggling with depression, anxiety, suicide. My heart literally goes out to y'all. I know it's not easy. And then especially when you're probably dealing with some of your own mental and internal struggles, because we all have them. My prayers and my thoughts are with you all. But for me personally, I have actually gone through a season of depression. It was in my college days. I went through a pretty bad, rough breakup. And around that same time, I ended up losing someone who was basically like a brother to me in a hit and drunk driving accident. So I sunk deep into depression because I was like in a state where I was still in college. I'm still going to school. I'm still a basketball player. I'm the captain of my team. I'm away from my family at the time. I was really, really trying hard to make it look like I had it all together and that I was okay, when I had no idea how to process these overwhelming emotions of sadness and darkness that were coming on me. Thankfully, I was able to get through that spell. I was able to go see a therapist who was just amazing and helped me talk through my emotions with myself, just the exercises. I 100% encourage therapy if that is something. I know it's like taboo in our
Right.
community,
Right.
but I'm telling you, sometimes you just need an outside perspective of someone who's not close to you, who isn't trying to cater to your feelings and what you want to hear and tell you what it is, but got through that, was able to come out on the other side victorious, thankfully. And so now whenever I think about mental health, I just think about keeping it very honest with myself. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If I'm not checked in and in tune with what's going on with Mikala, then I'm going to be out of whack. And in turn, my other relationships, my other endeavors are going to be out of whack. So number one, I always just make sure I take time in my day to reflect about how I'm feeling and what's going on. I do that a lot through prayer, and I write my prayers down. So I guess we can say journaling in that aspect. For other people who like to journal, I think that's very therapeutic. I like to be outside. I love the sun, the sunshine, like
Yes.
walk, even if it's just sitting outside for a little bit and getting some fresh air. I think that's very beneficial for me. And also just taking care of my health, my physical health, when I'm working out, whenever I'm eating right, whenever I'm putting the right things in my body and making sure that my body's moving and I'm, utilizing it to the fullest, that's when I feel my best. So that's it for me.
For sure. And you just dropped so many gems, first of all. Like, I had some follow-up questions and you just answered them. So we're good. Like, yeah, that's it.
Talking. We'll just go back and forth, girl.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll be here all day. It's fine. It's fine. No big deal. But yeah, I definitely agree for sure. First of all, one thing you said, which I think is very important that people really don't think about, is go outside. Like, you would be surprised. I'm not saying that's gonna fix all of your problems, but go outside for like 15 minutes. You would be surprised how much better you will feel.
Yes. Well, tell me. I mean, what are some things that you do for your mental health?
For me, like, I think, first of all, my relationship with God is very important. So, like, I think that definitely, like, I know if I haven't, like, talked to God in a while or prayed in a while, like, I feel like that, like, affects me. So definitely check in with God, because that's number one, that helps. Number two, I just got back into the gym, like, this is week 5. So, yeah, listen, all the workout girlies, y'all weren't lying about how, like, we're going out to the gym is like addictive. Y'all was telling the truth the whole time. I just didn't know about it, but it's really nice. So, focusing on God, going to the gym, and like putting down things that like aren't good for you, and that could be whatever. That could be food. That could be alcohol. That could be whatever. Like, cutting out those things will just like clear your mind. You just see the world in a whole new like.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll piggyback off you. Sometimes we don't realize that it's people or situations or things that we kind of need to cut out of our life, because with the energy you keep around you is reflected, so I think that's a big one to take note of who makes you feel good and then who makes you feel like, oh my gosh, like,
oh my gosh, if you get anxious just like thinking about being around them, it's a dub. Cut them off.
Yeah.
Cut them off for sure. Also, kind of picking back off that, going back to the pageant world, being in the pageant world, and actually just being a woman, period, there's this big pressure to, fit in the standards of beauty and just be perfect. So how do you kind of quiet that noise, and how do you practice self-love?
Quiet the noise. Well, there's 1,015,000 beautiful women in this world.
For sure.
I mean, women are beautiful.
Beautiful.
The older I get and the more I am out and around people and I see just the variety and the diversity and just different looks, I have literally just had a different appreciation for women in general, just about their beauty. And it's not necessarily if they're the most done up or the most fit. There's just something about the way a woman can carry themselves that has become so beautiful to me. Number one. But in the pageant world, yes, it can get competitive. You're looking at people and you want to win and you're like, oh my gosh, well, is she going to win because she's prettier than me? Or is she going to win because she's taller than me, slimmer than me? You definitely start putting those things in your mind. And I think now, especially with social media as well, you don't even just have access to the other women and people who are in your proximity. You're seeing people from around the world. You're seeing edited photos. You're seeing celebrities like constantly pumped into your face. And I know I've been scrolling, I'm like, dang, I wish I had that girl's lips, or dang, I wish I had, I wish my waist was snatched like that. I mean, we all have these
thoughts. For sure.
But I think just what you said, I think getting back in tune with my relationship with God and understanding who I am and who created me, who he designed me to be, that I know that my creator doesn't make any mistakes, that I am beautiful in my own way, and I don't have to look like A, B, and C. You know, I can look like me. That's going to be different. That's going to be fun. And you can love it or you can hate it. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to come with some insecurities. But, you know, I talk to myself and I tell me, you know what, my insecurities, what I'm insecure about is what makes me different. That's what makes me
Yeah.
unique. So I'm going to embrace on those and I'm going to love on those. I literally sometimes have to look at myself and be like, you know what? I love that about you. I used to hate my
Yeah.
brain because my sisters got the light eyes genes. You know, they both have like these hazelest green eyes, and I used to hate my brown eyes. And it wasn't until college where I started looking at my eyes. I was like, you know what, brown eyed girl, I love your brown eyes. Like, I love your brown.
Period.
Brown is one of my favorite colors ever. So I think it's just about speaking life and speaking love into yourself and others, and knowing that you are still beautiful, you are still worthy, you are still that girl, and that other girl can be that girl too, and we can all be that girl together.
Period. That's true. And you know what? You'd be surprised the thing that you're insecure about, people will love. So, like, you can't tell because I'm sitting, but I'm actually, like, really tall. The people who know me, they'll lie, think vouch for me. Like, I'm, like, a good 6'1", very tall.
Yeah, Queen.
So, huh?
You're speaking to a former basketball player, so I'm
Oh
right.
yeah, that like I remember like being younger and be like, oh, I hate this, bro. Like, why can't I just be 5'5" like the rest of the girls and be all cute and petite? But now, shout out to all the stallions in the road, hey, you
Yeah.
know, now I love it. You know what I mean? So you'd be surprised the things that you're insecure about are the things that people like love about you and they low key wish like they had. Cause I'm sure people have told you too, like, oh, if I had your height. And I used to be like, girl, you can have it. But now I'm like, thank you. Nah, I like
Look,
my height too.
I need more height. I'm trying to WNBA this. Like, actually give me insurance.
Period. Period. So you mentioned earlier, you are a multimedia personality. You kind of touched on that a little bit. So, but go more in depth. Like, what do you do as far as like the media world, the media industry?
Yeah, so like I said, I was with Fox 2 News here in St. Louis for 3 years. Started off as an intern, became a field reporter where I was in the community working with organizations, businesses, doing hard-breaking news, whether that's a fire, a shooting, a murder, you know, I mean, things of that nature. Did that for the
Right.
long, but came in and they knew my sports background, so they always knew that I wanted to get into that sports realm. And thankfully, I got my chance. I transitioned into the high school prep zone here in St. Louis, where I was able to go and cover high school sports, all sports, boys and girls, which was so much fun. And then I worked my way up to be a anchor for the shows where I was doing our primetime stations. I was anchoring the Blues, the Cardinals, St. Louis City SD, who we have coming to St. Louis in 2023 as our new MLS expansion team, and
Yes.
the high school sports as well. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I've shot a documentary called the DJ documentary where I served as the host for that, where we sat down with DJs from St. Louis and East St. Louis and kind of just told their stories and how they've contributed to the culture of music and DJing across the country. And then here in St. Louis, which was another incredible experience that just fell into my lap. And now I'm Miss USA and I'm a spokesperson for the Van Bros and Associates company. And I'm hoping to be the next Miss USA and be the spokesperson for the Miss USA organization so that I can continue this momentum, because I don't take this opportunity lightly. I know the doors that it can open for my career in media. So I'm going to try to use this to the fullest, take advantage of it while also still doing my due diligence to give back to the community.
Nice. So now, as a woman in the media industry, I can say this stuff is not for the weak.
Oh,
Okay. So listen, I know that's why we gonna talk about it. So I just want to get your opinion on what is it like being a woman in the media industry? Because listen, I know. Okay. I know.
yeah. I mean, it's different. It's a male-dominated field. It's a male-dominated field. We all know that. And especially when you transition into the sports world, it's a white male-dominated field. We're starting to see more diversity get into there. If we're looking on ESPN, Fox Sports, we are seeing women grace the television, and they're doing an amazing job covering every realm of athletics and then also in news. So I'm glad that we're starting to see that. Battery, but we're going to
It's
make it
okay.
through.
It's all right.
But seeing women, break those glass ceilings, break those barriers, create more opportunities for women, and then especially women of color. So I think in this field, you have to have tough skin. Number one, as a woman, you have to be willing to speak up for yourself. You can't just like sit in the shadows, get bossed around and be told what to do. I mean, at the end of the day, you are working for someone, so you have to have that flexibility, but you have to be able to have your voice.
Sure.
On the topics and the situations that you want to speak on. Make sure that you're being fair, number one, and that you're being respected. And I think if you just carry yourself, if you carry yourself in a respectable way and you show up and you work hard and you do what you're supposed to do and you show that you know what you're talking about, I mean, no one can doubt that.
For sure. You're, again, preaching to the choir. I thought we were like the same person, low key. I'm telling you, we have the same, yes, the same experiences. Because I agree with that 100%. Like, it's different when you work with somebody, obviously. You can't just be like, I'm not just going to do this. But it is for sure, like, you do have to, like, show your presence, I guess, like a little bit, and be flexible, be humble, be open, be teachable, but still, just fight to be respected like the men do, So I definitely understand that for sure, for sure.
And I'll bring in a scenario with me. Whenever I was transitioning into the sports department at Fox 2, it was all males. There was no women back there. I was the only girl. I'm a young girl at that. These men have been doing this for years, for literally 20 plus years, even years, So they have their ways, which not mad about. They're extremely good at what they do. They're award-winning journalists and producers. Absolutely love them. But I was in that situation where I had to find the balance of what can I bring that's fresh, new in me, and still collaborate with the team and the vision that they have and the vision that they see. And at first I was kind of scared to speak up, and I'm a very outspoken person. So I think that goes, like, just when you're in that environment, it can become a little bit intimidating, but you have to just speak up and understand if you don't talk, closed mouths do not get fed.
Do not get fed.
Something, and you have to be yourself. You cannot be anyone but yourself.
For sure. Girl, again, preaching to the choir. Yes, give all the gems. You're getting a lot of hearts too in the live, so people agree with you for sure. Yeah. So yeah, so you mentioned earlier you come from the sports world as well. So being that the sports world and the media world are both super competitive and you have to have tough skin, do you feel like that prepared you for the pageant world?
1,000%. I think being a former athlete is what gave me my edge, to be quite honest, because I attacked it like I was preparing for a game. I would watch film, meaning I would watch pageants from the past. I would pick up on things that I liked about different contestants, things that I didn't. Figured out how I could still make that me. I would listen to their answers. I would research topics that were relevant in pageantry, in news, things that were just relevant in my community, things that were relevant in Missouri. I was working all day and staying up all night working on my walk, or, just filling out different questions, just trying to read, just like to be prepared. I wanted to come in as prepared as possible. And I didn't know what that was going to look like because it was my first pageant and I didn't have any experience. But I downloaded a packing list. I made sure that I had everything on my packing list to a T, packed according to what I needed it in the theater where we were performing, what I needed in the hotel. I got a coach, Kim Forsyth. Shout out to my girl Kim Forsyth, because she is a star machine. She pumps out stars right and left, and she worked with me for 2 months, countlessly, which that's even a very short time to get a coach. I was doing this on my own for a very, very long time, but I ran into this other girl here in St. Louis who was a former Miss United States, and she just took me in. I call her my fairy godmother. She became like my guardian angel and just introduced me to all the right people. And Kim Forsyth was one of those women. And we just created an all-star team and said, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. We believe that we can win, but we're going to put our best foot forward. We're going to do everything we can do to prepare. And we did. We came in and we executed and walked away with the crown.
Period. You sure did. Period. I love that. Now, in addition to all of that, because let me tell you something, Miss Mamas be working, okay? She be working, okay? In addition to all of that, you are also the founder of More Miracles STL, I saw. So tell us a little bit about what that organization does.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, everyone has more time and uh, resources, I guess, or not even resources, but just time to think about what you want to do. And that
Right.
became a where I really wanted to think about the impact that I wanted to have on my community because I know I was working with different organizations and doing little things, but I felt like I wanted to scale that to a larger scale. And I was like, I'm just gonna, start this nonprofit. It's always been on my heart to start my own nonprofit organization. I just didn't know when it was going to happen, what it was going to be called. It's like all piecing together in itself. So I came up with the name More Miracles STL because I didn't want to necessarily put my name in it, but I wanted to tie my name into it and More Miracles Mikala McGhee.
Yeah.
Now,
I see what you did there. See what you did.
I was like being a little clever. So I was like, okay, perfect. This is it. And the first act of kindness, I would say the first miracle that I did was during the pandemic. I found about 10 struggling families who were struggling to pay their bills, who weren't going to be able to put food on their table, and who weren't going to be able to get presents for their kids. And so I got with partners and raised enough money and put a lot of my own money into it too, because nobody knew about More Miracles. I mean, this was something that I had just started off a whim. But I went and bought these families food for the holidays, went and bought their kids presents. Thankfully, my family really helped a lot. They helped me with the drop-offs and wrapping the gifts and selecting these families because I didn't just pick the first people who came to me. I had them write essays, about why they
Right.
need and because I wanted it to really mean something to the person who was getting it. So that's how it all got started, and it's been snowballing from there. Now, especially in conjunction with my Miss Missouri USA reign, I have been launching this campaign called We Want to Play Too. And what we are seeing is that young girls are dropping out of sports at a 2-time higher rate than boys by the age of 14. And it's not because that they don't want to play. It's not because they aren't capable. It's because they don't have the resources. And when I'm talking about resource, I'm talking financially. I'm also talking about just basic things like spandex, sports bras, tampons, pads, deodorant, socks, tennis shoes, like little things that make a young woman feel comfortable playing sports. And that's a lot
Right.
of times us quit is because they just aren't prepared to perform at a high level. And I just know the doors and opportunities that sports and athletics opened for me. And I would hate for a young girl, especially in my community, to be robbed of that opportunity because they didn't have what they needed and they didn't have the resources. So it's okay if they don't want to play sports just because they don't want to play sports, but I don't want them to quit and stop because they don't have what they need, because they deserve that opportunity to explore their athletic abilities and explore the opportunities that can be open to them because of that.
Nice. That's good. That's really, really good. I like that. So, outside of the many, 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 many hats that you wear with pageantry and media and nonprofit, what do you like to do outside of that? Like, what do you like to do for fun? Like, what do you do to like unwind or just enjoy yourself?
Yeah, and hold on, let me check I'm running off the 6%, so we're gonna get this in. So forgive me. I
Okay,
should have
yes, yes, yes. Quick. We're almost done.
let you know. So if it cuts off, I'm not like, oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
What do I do outside of it? Well, I would first of all say travel. I love traveling, in states and abroad. One of my favorite trips was to Germany, which was absolutely phenomenal. I went around Christmas time and got to go into the Christmas markets, drink glue wine. Just we went to Amsterdam, just made a whole trip of it, and also had a great time in Costa Rica. And I love me some Mexico. I will always be a Mexico fan. But but my goal is to start traveling more. I also love movies. I love watching movies when I have time to, usually before bed, but I will stay up and watch a really good movie. I think I'm kind of like a underlying movie critic as well. So if anybody is looking for a paid movie critic, call me because I am. And I like to work out, spend time with my family, just take on little art projects, just something fun. put together events. I mean, I'm a pretty easygoing girl. It
Love
doesn't
it.
excite me if you can't.
Love it. Love it. I love it. I love it. So look, so that was actually before we, before your phone dies, so that we can wrap it up. But is there anything that you would want anybody else to know about you or about your nonprofits or anything that you do? If not, that's okay. I'm just leaving
No.
it open.
It's like I feel like I've put so much information out there, but there's always more that we could dig up and whatever.
Sure.
What I just
That's
want people to
okay.
know about me is that I am relatable, I'm authentic, I'm going to be genuine. I really do try to put my heart in everything that I do. And if I feel like it's not there, I'm not going to do it or I won't be a part of it. I really love my community. I want to help people. I want everyone to achieve everything that they want to do in this life. I'll bend my back. I'll break my back if I can to help somebody. And I would just really appreciate everyone's support during my reign as Miss Missouri USA and as I start preparing for Miss USA. So if you could just follow me, I mean, this is my personal page at Mikala McGhee. You can also follow me on my Miss Missouri USA account, which is at Miss MO USA. But I would just appreciate the love, prayers, and support because I've been feeling it this entire time. And I feel like if we keep the momentum going, then there's no limits to what we can do.
Yes. Well, Mikala, thank you. Thank you again. Thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with us a little bit. Now, when, not if, when you win Miss USA, come back and see us. Okay, we're gonna come back and chat up again. So make sure you come back and see us. You come chat with me so we can talk about that. But
Of course. I received that. I received that good.
speak it into existence. You gotta speak it into existence. Absolutely. So definitely make sure you come back and see us for sure.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. You are an absolute pleasure. So you know I will be back.
Thank you. Thank you. Make sure y'all go support St. Louis, especially St. Louis Stand Up. Make sure you go support Mikala, and we will be watching. We will be supporting. So thank you again.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye.